Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Today we're going to talk about sacred play and the spiritual growth that comes from or is demonstrated by, wait for it, orca whales and Beethoven. So we'll also do a guided meditation with Fallon, a crystal of the week, healing with the goddess. And for one person who taps in and asks a question, we'll do a quick mini reading for you. For all the others, and that'll be the first person I see on this. I'm still working on this new platform here. But for all the others who would like a reading, I invite you to email me at robin@robinfritz.com. It's ROBYNFRITZ. And we can cover your questions on my radio show Mondays at Om Times Radio, the practical, intuitive, mind, body, spirit for the real world. So let's get started today with a quick guided meditation with Fallon. So Fallon is a citrine Lemurian quartz, and just concentrate on this. However your intuition works, seeing, hearing, feeling, or knowing, the strongest way is how you will connect with him. So if you take a deep breath, just breathe in all positive, healthy energy and release the cares of the day. And as you breathe that in, just feel that energy helping ground and balance you and clearing out things. Yes, Michelle, join us here. Connecting here with Fallon in this brief meditation. Start at the top of your head and imagine that you're bringing clearing, healthy, positive energy down through your body and clearing out all that stuck energy. So starting at the top of your head, breathe down your face, your neck, your throat chakra, your shoulders, your heart, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And as you do that, just feel your chakras rapidly clearing. Feel yourself sinking deeper into connection to the earth and its elements, to air, to water, to cleansing fires, and to spirit. And now imagine Fallon as a gold light at your feet, radiating outwards and sending healing, supportive, loving energy to you and filling your heart, and with each beat of your heart, just flooding your system with healing energy. So imagine that moving up from your feet, rotating outside your body, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your throat, your face, your third eye, and your crown chakra. So with Fallon, your crown chakra is wide open. And you may feel a little bit of dizziness as we proceed here today, and we'll get grounded back into our bodies at the end of the broadcast. So how are you, Joan? I'm great, thank you. We're having a very sad day today in Seattle. Ashes falling from wildfires just east of the city. So, we're connected with all of those who have been through wildfires this summer, hurricanes, the coming hurricane. As I said last week, Hurricane Irma would be a Category 5 hurricane. It's already a Category 5. So brace yourself, East Coast, particularly Florida, it's coming. So today, let's go to this concept that I wanted to talk about, and it's the concept of sacred play and how sacred play and spiritual growth relate to orcas and Beethoven. Pretty weird, right? But a few years ago, I live at the beach in Seattle. So we live on Puget Sound. And a few years ago, my dog and I were out for a walk, and there were a bunch of people lined up along the walkway down at the beach, and they were jumping up and down, and they're clapping and cheering and sharing binoculars, because there was a super pod of orca whales across the sound from us. Now, a super pod is a gathering of more than one of our local orca pods. And as you probably know, they're endangered, their numbers are declining, and part of that is because they only eat salmon. It will, Larissa. Depends on the magnitude, but thanks for joining us. I'm looking forward to seeing you here next week in Seattle. But again, remember, hurricanes are cleansing forces. They're clearing the land and the sea that they move over. So support them on their way, however hard it is. So back to the superpod of orca whales. Our local orca population only eats salmon. The transient orcas, the ones that come from other places and join up in Puget Sound, eat other things like seals. But our local orcas eat only salmon. So we were enjoying it, and I was watching the people watching the salmon, and I'm thinking, does it really take an extraordinary event for us to come together and play? Do we need permission to play? And I just really, didn't know what to think about that. So I started chatting with the orcas, and I said, can you come back tomorrow at the same time and, come over here and come closer to us? And they're like, well, the fishing's better where we are. And I'm like, okay, I can get that. Orcas don't have grocery stores, right? But I did invite them to come back and play on my side of the beach the next day. And I set a time, and I showed up, and of course they did not. And a few days later they did. And I said, hey, I thought we had a date a few days ago. And they said, orca time or human time? And they laughed, and we had a good conversation. And the gist of it is that I know I love orcas, and we all love orcas. But the gist of the conversation was that orcas they love being orcas. They love being together. They live in matriarchal pods. Okay, so the women are in control, so to speak. They enjoy the hunt. They enjoy hunting for their food. And so for them, work is life-giving play. And, that's really something to think about. And they were curious. They find people curious. They find it highly amusing that we're interested in them. But just the fact that they loved their work and it was life-giving play to them, that's something to stop and think about. So where do we fit on that scale? How does work mean play for us? And, I have to really admit, I don't think of vacuuming as play. But in a lot of ways, the work that I do as an intuitive and spiritual consultant, okay, so I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and past life regression specialist. It's hard work, but I adore it. And it's because I can help people, and I see people growing into their soul work. And so I guess play for me is fun too. But I hadn't really thought about it until I had that conversation with orcas, and they were just so enamored with the play that comes from the hunt. So with that, we're going to Beethoven. Okay, so my beloved Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Murphy Brown died in March of 2012. And it was several years later, literally, that I was making dinner for friends, and I decided to turn on the stereo and outblasted Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And I'm like, wow, okay. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And I remembered that I had played that music for Murphy's funeral in 2012, and it was still on my stereo. And as the music was playing and I was remembering my beloved Murphy, she popped in, joined up, and she's smiling and she's laughing at me and she's watching me cook and she's singing. And she was singing to Beethoven, and I said, why are you singing to it? And she said, are you ready for this? She said, it's music the angels sing to. And I'm like, angels sing to Beethoven? And she laughed and she said, it's play. It's sacred play. And it's literally the same words that the orcas had used, that sacred play was life-giving work for them, the hunt for salmon. And singing to Beethoven, and Beethoven's music was sacred play. And Murphy started harmonizing again, and I heard other voices, and they were all in harmony with Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And she said, this is the angels. The angels and I were singing to Beethoven. And I was like, awestruck, right? And I really got it. Beethoven wasn't just a musical genius whose music endures today. Beethoven loved his work. To him, his work was sacred play. He tapped into the creativity that comes from hard work combined with inspiration and the pure joy of doing it. So when he played, he connected to others through his play. And we're still connected to him all these years later, and angels and my deceased dog are singing to Beethoven's music. So I wanted to share that with you today because, it was just Labor Day here in the United States. It's a time when we celebrate work. And a lot of times I hear from people how grinding work is for them, how it's maybe even they consider it soul crushing. And I know that we have to work to pay the bills. I mean, that's simple. And we have to do whatever it is that will pay the bills, even if it isn't always fun. But if we look at it from the aspect of sacred play, that we're connecting to others that we're doing the work for or with, and that's contributing to life-giving harmony on the planet. Oh, Barbara Harris, Monterey. I want to go there so bad. So thanks for joining us. So we connect to other beings by doing our work. And if we look at it as life-giving play, that contributes to our spiritual growth, and that's what makes it all worthwhile. So that's just one of my tips on how we become our best selves. And I thought you'd enjoy hearing about orcas and Beethoven today. But there are more tips in my upcoming webinar on Thursday, and I'll tell you about that at the end of the broadcast. Tips on becoming your best self. It's free Thursday, September 7th at 11 Pacific time. So I'd like to, and I'm trying to see, as anyone connected with a request for a quick reading, intuitive or healing reading, please type it in here because I'm using this new platform and I'm not seeing all of the comments here. So at any rate, let's look at the crystal of the week here. And I chose sunstone for today. And I was surprised to find that I don't have any sunstone. So I need to correct that problem. But sunstone is a great crystal for what we're talking about today, having fun and playing. And it's a yellow-orange stone, sadly appropriate for our Seattle skies today. Michelle, yes, I will. Thanks for asking. Let me just write a note here, and I'll get right to that. And so can only take one quick reading today. So, yes, the rest of you, I'm going to look at Michelle's chakras with her. The rest of you, please email me at robin@robinfritz.com. We can do oh, thank you. Do you have a sunstone with you? Good, thank you. The others, please send me a request for a quick reading on my radio show on Mondays. Or I also offer 15 and 30-minute readings as well as 1-hour readings as a professional service through my website. But sunstone, to just finish up with sunstone, it's considered good luck and good fortune, and a yellow-orangey stone that's full of joy and lightness, and it helps to restore self-confidence, so it's letting the real you shine through. So I thought it's a great stone for us today, and I think I know someone who's actually out mining some sunstone this weekend, so we'll find out about that coming up. But if you want to add some lightness and sweetness to your life, consider sunstone. I've seen it, I just don't own any, and I would like to add that to my collection. Angela, thank goodness you have one in your pocket, so share its energy with us. We would love that. And Michelle, your lower chakras, you're okay. Just a quickie here. It looks like you're having trouble deciding on what work that you really want to do that can also support you financially, and that's destabilizing you in a little bit. So when we become anxious and we become tense, that, closes up all of our energy field, and that can create little blocks there. And you need to trust that you really have the self-confidence and you have the ability to excel at your job. You're just a little shy, and that's holding you back from really expressing yourself. So I hope today that the idea of sacred play really resonates with you. If you look at your work and the obligations that you have, taking care of your daily needs, as fun, as something that you can leap right into and enjoy, I'm hoping that will help clear out your chakras. But also, I always recommend sea salt. If you have sea salt, to put it out in a little bowl around the house, or if you have Himalayan salt lamps, awesome. You see behind me, I have this season's lavender drying. Up on my top shelf, there's a huge, what was once an amethyst geode, has gradually over time broken into 3 pieces, but it's still pretty powerful. So look at, but I recommend orolite over amethyst. Orolite is a grounding crystal. It's amethyst with grounding elements in it. Regular amethyst tends to be too soft for heavy clearing. So Michelle, is this resonating with you? Do you have any other questions? I'm going to have to figure out again how these comments work here. So I'm hoping that resonates with you and the others. Thank you for wanting a free reading. Tune in next week if you can. And again, let me give you some basic information here on what's coming up for us. Oh, okay, good. Thank you, Michelle. I'm having a hard time seeing these comments. Thank you. And sacred place is such an awesome concept. And I know our daily chores can be tough. And it's like, again, I'm going back to vacuuming. I really don't like vacuuming, but having it floor free from dog hair for 10 minutes is pretty cool. So Maria, I can only see part of your comment, and I'm going to have to ask the Be Live people how I can see the rest of the comments on here. But thank you for tuning in. So I have a number of webinars coming up at the Experts platform at Om Times. So if you go to experts.omtimes.com/Robin Fritz, ROBYNFRITZ, and you can scroll to the top of this broadcast and see the link. But if you go there, you'll see I have a number of webinars already up. But in the month of September, I'm offering 2. And this week on Thursday, it's free. So if you go to the Experts platform and sign up for a free account at Learn It Live, the platform that Om Times uses, you can then sign in and sign up for the webinar on Thursday. It's on tips to become your best self, of which sacred play is one of them. And we'll have fun together. We'll have really cool pictures on the PowerPoint presentation. And I'm offering special incentives for those who join us live. And on Thursday, September 21st, I'm offering a paid webinar on resolving grief and connecting with your dead. And if you've listened to my show or tuned into some of these Facebook broadcasts, you know that my work is all about supporting your growth as an intuitive and healer, because we are all intuitives and healers. And while I do a number of mediumship sessions and people come and we work together to connect with their dead, I also like to empower you to learn to connect with other beings, from your animals to your home and workspace, and especially to your dead. So we will talk about tips to resolve grief and how you can create a little ritual to connect with your dead based on how your intuition works. And I will go through and explain what happens when we die, and there may be some readings that pop in there as we work together on that webinar. And then coming up in October, I'm going to do a free webinar on the truth about Atlantis and Lemuria, and then a few paid webinars, one on animals, the afterlife, and reincarnation, which is a huge subject right now and is pretty active in my family. Both my current, you're welcome, Michelle, thank you. Both my current animals are reincarnations of the animals I've lost in the last few years. And we'll be doing a webinar on working and healing with crystals. So grab a crystal and join us on that webinar. I think that all the paid webinars are $15. We're doing some real serious work. And I'm working also with someone on doing a regular monthly webinar on crystals. So let me know if you like that idea, monthly working with crystals. And on space clearing, clearing ourselves and clearing our spaces. So with that, I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you appreciate these broadcasts and you haven't already liked the Om Times magazine page, please do so. Really, that helps them. And it would really help me if you went to my Facebook business page, The Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World, and like that page. And you're also welcome to send me friend requests on my personal page. But we interact there, and if you go to my website at robinfritz.com, you can sign up for my newsletter. I'm changing out my free offering to a guided meditation with Fallon, so there's only a few days left to get what's already up there. From Brazil, the best way to clear your crystals. Oh, if that's what that last word was, Maria, I'm sorry, I can't read the whole comment. I'm going to have to ask them how we do that. But if you're asking the best way to clear your crystals, we are definitely going to do that. And thank you, Larissa. I'll look forward to that call. We are definitely going to talk about clearing your crystals. And so with me, you get very practical stuff. So I'm not going to tell you to go out in the backyard and bury your crystals or wait till the full moon, because honestly, we need to, do what we need to do when we need to do it. And so I use running water, or Fallon, here's Fallon again. Fallon clears himself, and occasionally I will line the sink with towels and just run cold water over him. It keeps the fingerprints off of him, for one, and he likes the cold water. But you have to be careful because some crystals will dissolve in water. So you need to know the properties of your crystals before you try to clear them. All right. So anyway, as an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist, you can find my services at my website. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute personal and business consultations. And a lot of times what people do is purchase an hour and then use it up over the course of a month in 15-minute increments. That works well if you're working on an issue like a job change or something that you're working on, a creative project or something like that. But I talk with animals, with the dead. I help people clear spaces, and we do intuitive and soul regression hypnotherapy, which is past life regression with hypnotherapy. And you're welcome. Join us with that crystal webinar in October. So just connect with me however you can. I love hearing from people. Again, my radio show Monday is The Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's omtimes.com radio. I am so thrilled that I have become a member of the Om Times Experts community. They are awesome, and the community is awesome. But my show Mondays is every Monday at 2 Pacific time. That's 5 Eastern time, and it's whatever 8 hours ahead of that is in Europe, in England anyway, Great Britain, sorry. So join me on that show, and if you have questions or comments and you're too shy to come on the show, email them to me. But today, again, I want to thank you for joining me. The concept of sacred play is really important. Play is part of our lives, and we tend to get wrapped up in work and think that if I take time to play, that I'm doing something wrong. Play is invigorating. It rejuvenates us. It's like a nap for our creativity. So it just will help spark that spiritual growth that is part of your experience of being a soul in a body and learning to grow your soul in this lifetime. So thank you for joining me today, and let's close with a healing with the goddess, and let's offer healing energy to go. Angela, thank you for that comment. Healing energy to go wherever it's needed. And again, I want to remind you, if you're curious about the work of hurricanes in the world, on my Facebook Live last week and the end of the week, last week, 2 broadcasts on that, and my radio show. I know that if you're afraid of hurricanes coming near you, and certainly Puerto Rico and Cuba are in the direction, in the path of Hurricane Irma, do know that hurricanes are created to cleanse the land and the waters they work over. It's terrifying, I know, just like it's scary for us in Seattle, thinking of our brothers and sisters in Eastern Washington who are experiencing wildfires. But don't ask the hurricane to move or to slow down. Simply bless it on its way, and it will do the job that it's created to do, which is to help keep our planet alive. So peace and blessings to you. Let's close with a healing from the goddess. So cross your hands on your heart and just breathe in energy to the palms of your hands, remembering that healing energy in your palms is very, very powerful. And now breathe into your palms. And as you feel your breath on your palms, notice that energy going there, and then hold it up. Thank you, Angela. And just let that energy go where it will. It is sentient. It knows its job better than we do. So just bless it on its way. Yes, Barbara. Thank you. Earth, air, fire, and water coming together. While we pray for rain in Seattle, other places are wishing it would not rain so much. And let's just send love and peace to all. And cross your hands back on your heart. And now we're going to ground you back into your bodies. Close out that crown chakra so you can go about your day and not be dizzy and lightheaded. But if you are a little bit lightheaded, know that it's really a strong connection to Fallon's energy and to the energy of all of us joining in community today. So let's ground you back into your body. Take a deep breath. Feel that heavy grounding energy balancing you out. Breathe energy into your palms. Breathe air into your palms. And then back on your heart again. Ground that energy back into you. The world needs you at your very best. And this will help you be that way. So thank you again for joining me today, and we'll see you again here at Facebook Live next week, and join me on my radio show on Monday, and please join me on my free webinar Thursday, Tips to Become Our Best Self. Thank you and take care.